everyone, welcome to Sinrumbo. I'm Philippe. In this video I will show you exactly how to wire the camper battery to the engine battery. It's not as difficult as it might seem if you follow my instructions. I'll tell you exactly what materials, supplies, tools and techniques you'll need to correctly and reliably do this simple job. The first thing I did before I started building the camper was to pay a car stereo install shop to do this wiring for me. I've had many electrical problems since because of poor connections. I finally decided to pull out that cable and replace it with a new one with reliable and safe connections. This cable is the backbone of your electrical system, so trust me, it pays to do it right the first time. As you can see on this simple electrical diagram, we have two batteries. The one on the left is the one under the hood, and the one on the right side of the diagram is your camper battery. They're connected through a battery-to-battery charger. This device assures that you will always charge your camper battery correctly, even if it's, and it probably is, of a different type than your vehicle battery. It will also prevent discharging of the vehicle battery in case you discharge your camper battery. To do the job, we'll need 4-gauge cable. 4 gauge is the size that I recommend for most applications. We'll need 4-gauge lugs. The size has to match, of course, the size of the cable. If they're too big, please don't use them because they won't crimp properly and safely. Then we'll need 2 fuse holders and fuses, and then we'll need a crimp tool. I avoided the cheaper ones that you need to hammer the top of the tool. I think they're unstable, and the crimping itself, in my opinion, can be unreliable. The quality hydraulic ones are probably an unnecessary expense for a casual job. So I selected the manual crimp tool, which will do an excellent job and is available for around $70–80 more or less. So now that we've gathered all our supplies, we can start working on the vehicle. The first thing I'm going to do, because I'm replacing an existing cable, is disconnect it from the engine battery and at the other end as well. So that cable will be completely isolated, and then there's no risk of causing any short circuit while working. I'll put the nut back on so I won't lose it. The next thing is to remove the trim from the cab so we can access the kind of conduit along the bottom of the door. The safest way to run this cable is to run it inside the cab along the door here. Underneath the body it's possible and maybe easier, but there's more risk of rocks and stones damaging the cable, so I think inside the cab is a lot safer. I've got the new cable through and the old one is here, so I'm gonna pull that one out and gradually pull the new one through. Now I'm in the engine bay, so because I'm replacing the cable, I'm pulling out everything. So that cable I disconnected at the beginning, now I'm going to remove it. Here it is, it's out. This is the old fuse holder, which I'm going to replace too, and this is the old cable coming in from the cab. So I'm going to pull that out completely and then bring in the new one. So now that we have the terminal crimped at the end of the cable, we're going to solder it. I'm going to use my soldering iron here, you want to make sure you get the solder in the hole here so it drops down. You don't want it to go too far because it will make the cable stiff here and the connection might break, so just enough to feel the lug. So you'll see comes a point where the solder just goes right in. Now, because my solder wire is fairly thin, I'm gonna have to put in quite a bit. And that should do. So we'll let it cool off. So now I'm finishing up the connection here on the cable coming in from the back. I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink tubing on it. And we heat it up again with the soldering iron. So now you can see that the cable is in place. I'm gonna put the screw and washer on. The fuse is in. What I'm gonna do though is apply a couple of drops of thread lock so that the nut won't come undone. And there we go, that's one. So now I'm finishing the cable that's going to connect the battery to the fuse. So you can see one end is done here, crimped, soldered, heat shrinked, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other end. Then I'll leave this aside and I'll finish the back first, so that I'm sure the back section is not connected to the main battery until I hook this up, just for safety, but I'll just prepare the cable now. Okay, so the cable is ready. I've got both ends, so I will leave the front as it is for now, and I'll keep working at the back, and I'll hook this up last. Alright, so I'm done at the back, so now I'm going to connect the fuse here to the battery and complete the installation. So I will run the cable from under here and here. I'm going to put a couple of drops of thread lock. Okay, that's good. Alright, so now we do an inspection, make sure the cable doesn't get in the way of anything. It's clear here. It's good back there. So now we can test the installation and make sure everything is okay. There's no reason it shouldn't be. We've got nice clean connections everywhere, crimped and soldered all along, so should be good. Alright, so I took measurements at the back. The battery to battery charger has been charging the camper battery at almost 15 volts, 14.8, 14.9, so that's good. The fridge was running at the same time. The freezer compartment got really cold, so everything seems to be okay. At the cable at the back, I was measuring 14.7, 14.8 volts, so I don't think there's any losses under load, which there shouldn't be, so everything seems to be okay. I'm quite happy. So now, as soon as confinement is over, I'll go for a day drive and test all of this again, but it's looking really good. Hopefully now this will have solved all my intermittent problems, which were, as I said before, due to bad connections along the way. I had fixed some of them, and it was time just to redo it properly, so now that's done. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I'll make sure to respond, and see you next time.